Some photographs capture moments. Others capture the weight of an entire world. For Kevin Carter, his photographs were both a gift and a curse. This is the story of a man who documented unimaginable suffering and paid the ultimate price. Kevin Carter was born on September 13, 1960, in Johannesburg, South Africa. Growing up under apartheid, he witnessed firsthand a world divided by violence and injustice. Even as a child, he was deeply troubled by the inequalities that shaped his society. In his early 20s, Carter pursued a career in photography, drawn to its power to tell stories words couldn't express. He began his journey as a sports photographer, but the horrors of apartheid soon redirected his lens. His mission became clear: to reveal the brutal realities that others tried to ignore. Kevin Carter was not alone in this pursuit. He became part of the Bang Bang Club, a group of fearless photojournalists who risked their lives daily to capture the chaos of apartheid's final years. They documented police brutality, armed conflicts, and the devastating practice of necklacing, a method of execution involving a burning tire. For Carter, the job wasn't just about photographs. It was about exposing truths the world needed to see. But with every shutter click, his soul grew heavier. Witnessing such violence, day after day, began to erode his mental stability. In 1993, Carter took on an assignment that would change his life forever. Traveling to Sudan, he was tasked with documenting the devastating famine gripping the nation. Armed with his camera, he entered a world of unimaginable suffering. Villages were filled with starving families, and death hung heavy in the air. It was here that Carter captured his most famous and controversial image. A frail child collapsed on the ground, too weak to move, as a vulture loomed nearby, waiting. Carter snapped the photo, chased the bird away, and sat under a tree, weeping. The photograph, published by the New York Times in March 1993, sparked global outrage and compassion. Donations poured into Sudanese relief efforts. But as the world grappled with the haunting image, questions arose. Critics asked,
"Did you physically help him?"
Why didn't he help the child? Some called him a hero for exposing the famine. Others labeled him a heartless opportunist. The weight of these accusations crushed Carter.
I'm not saying I'm exempt.
He explained that armed guards had forbidden intervention, but the guilt remained.
Did more than that.
Why not just make sure she was
Kevin, no
safe?
one is saying you should.
Carter's fame didn't bring him peace. It magnified his anguish.
You just leave her in the desert to die, Kevin.
Haunted by the horrors he'd witnessed, he struggled with depression. His personal life unraveled. His relationships grew strained. He turned to drugs, seeking an escape from the vivid memories that tormented him. One of his friends later remarked, Kevin was haunted, not just by his photographs, but by the memories behind them.
What about saving this little girl?
You don't know what happened.
But why not just pick up the child?
In April 1994, Carter's closest friend and fellow Bang Bang Club member, Ken Osterbrook, was killed during a crossfire. Kevin was devastated. "It should have been me," he said to another colleague. His grief deepened his depression, and he withdrew further from the world. On July 27, 1994, Kevin Carter drove to a park he loved in Johannesburg. He sat in his car, a hose connected to the exhaust pipe. In his final note, he wrote, "I am haunted by the vivid memories of killings and corpses and pain. of starving children, of madmen with guns. I have gone to join kin if I am that lucky. Kevin Carter's story is a sobering reminder of the emotional toll of bearing witness to human suffering. His photographs exposed the world to its darkest realities, but at a devastating personal cost. Through his lens, we saw the truth, but at what price? Kevin Carter's life was a testament to the power and the burden of truth. As we remember his work, let us also remember his humanity. Criticism can illuminate truth, but it can also cast shadows. For Kevin Carter, the backlash to his Pulitzer-winning photograph became an unbearable burden. Critics questioned his morality, labeling him a bystander to suffering, a predator with a lens. They asked, "Why didn't you save the child?" Yet they failed to understand the context. The armed guards who controlled the scene, the very real risk to his own life. What these critics overlooked was the impact of his work. That single image mobilized global attention and humanitarian aid for Sudan's famine. Donations poured in, lives were saved, and awareness of the crisis grew exponentially. Kevin Carter wasn't doing nothing. He was showing the world what it refused to see. Despite his contributions, the weight of criticism chipped away at Kevin's already fragile mental state. His death wasn't just the result of haunting memories or personal loss. The harsh voices of detractors amplified his self-doubt and guilt, overshadowing the good he had done. His story reminds us of the immense power words hold, the power to encourage, but also the power to destroy. Perhaps there was much more Kevin could have accomplished. He had the talent, the vision, and the passion to continue exposing the world's hidden truths. But for the critics, he ended his life at just 33 years old. Their voices became yet another tragedy in his story. Kevin Carter's legacy challenges us to think about how we view the world and each other. Instead of focusing on his perceived failings, we should celebrate the bravery and humanity behind his lens. Every photograph he took was a call to action, a chance to change lives and confront injustices. As we remember Kevin, let's also reflect on how we react to the stories of others. Criticism can be constructive, but it must be tempered with empathy and understanding. In the end, our words have the power to lift people up or to push them over the edge. What if, instead of judging, we chose to see the good? What if we chose to see the person behind the lens? If this story moved you, hit the like button and subscribe for more untold stories that matter.